up, Tzu Chi volunteers prepare hot meals for flood victims in Thailand. We see how Tzu Chi's 20 years of charity work in Singapore has helped countless impoverished families. Welcome to Dar Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. We kick off today's show in Thailand, where torrential rain has left many parts of the country flooded. To help, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived in Pachonburi province, which is 150 kilometers away from Bangkok, to provide 350 servings of hot meals each day to those in need. A month of torrential rain in Thailand has caused severe flooding in the east and northeast region, making it difficult to differentiate the roads from rivers.
The flood water went up to here.
It is more difficult to get to work because we can't drive our cars and have to use the shuttle service.
Of the 24 flooded provinces, Pachonburi, Sisaket and Surin were the worst hit, with residents needing military transport service. Luckily, along the roadside, charity organizations are providing bottled water and lunch boxes. Tzu Chi volunteers also cook hot meals in a temple in Pachonburi to provide 350 servings of food each day.
We are doing all right now with the water level. When we get a lift, there are kind-hearted people on the roadside handing out lunch boxes.
When Thailand experienced severe flooding 2 years ago, some 13 million residents were left in devastation. The Thailand government reassured that the rainfall this year is not as heavy and the flood condition is easing off. On September 28, the Philippines government declared an end to the 3-week standoff between the military and rebel fighters in Zamboanga City. Clean-up work has already begun. However, local residents are still not allowed to go home until the affected areas have been given safety clearance by the government. Hence, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to distribute daily necessities and food to local residents in temporary shelters. Heavy gunfire and fighting, which has ravaged the streets of Zamboanga City for 3 weeks, has finally come to an end. Government soldiers entered villages once occupied by rebel forces and hoisted the national flag to declare an end to the siege. Cleanup work has already begun in the affected areas.
To make sure that there are no unexploded bombs or there are no rebels still in the area, and they're also in the process of picking up dead bodies to prevent any spread of infection.
Thanks to the protection of the Army, Tzu Chi's Ophthalmology Center and Physical Rehabilitation and Prosthesis Center only suffered minor damage to their structures, and there wasn't too much damage to the medical equipment.
There are damage, but nothing that cannot be fixed in two weeks' time. So as soon as government will give us the clearance to go back inside.
Currently, there are over 100,000 residents who are still unable to return to their homes, and Tzu Chi volunteers continue to bring them aid and daily necessities. A charity organization has also donated wheelchairs, while more and more people have stepped forward to lend assistance. Within 3 hours, 5,000 relief packs were ready to be distributed.
Everybody worked hard to attain this cooperation and this love that's shared by two or three cultures in the city. And all of this has been disappeared because everybody starts becoming suspicious of one another again. Opportunity to rebuild into something better. So we're just focusing on that. We're taking it one day at a time.
Love and compassion rose out amid the crisis, and Tzu Chi volunteer Yang Wei-shun took this love to share with his counterparts in Manila.
Banks are closed, stores are closed, there's shooting in the street. But because most of the store owners are Tzu Chi members, they would open their stores by themselves just to get the goods out for us to be able to do relief.
Although the road to recovery is long, with Tzu Chi by their side, these residents will never feel alone. To prepare for the upcoming winter aid distributions in China, Nanjing Tzu Chi volunteers first visited impoverished families throughout the region. During these home visits, volunteers found local residents treasuring each and every aid supply they have received in the past, acts which give Tzu Chi volunteers the motivation to continue their charity work.
See, in China, Tzu Chi volunteers come calling Nanjing local residents scream from year to year. Even those who are unable to stand to receive the volunteers greet each one with a warm salutation. The residents living in these mountainous regions are mostly solitary seniors and are all happy to have Tzu Chi volunteers visit, so much so that they have a hard time saying farewell. During these visits, Tzu Chi volunteers find one senior who continues to reuse the rice bag from a previous distribution, as well as a care recipient who still uses a blanket from an aid distribution 5 years ago.
This is great quality. The blankets I buy from home gets wet, but this won't. This blanket won't break off into chunks either.
The blanket is made from water bottles. The blanket is filled with global Tzu Chi volunteers' love and blessings. That's why it's so warm when used.
Living in simplicity, grandmother Liu Yaqing recalls each aid item she received from Tzu Chi 5 years earlier.
There's a toothbrush, toothpaste, warm clothes, blankets, undergarments. Isn't that everything? There's also rice, cooking oil. You've given me everything.
In the recent 10 years of home visitations, volunteers visited 571 impoverished households. Besides bringing love and care, Tzu Chi volunteers also brought enough warmth to last until their next visit.
In Taiwan, most community projects tend to focus on the development of the environment, culture, or businesses. However, today we take you to Hualien Sofeng Township, where local residents instead emphasize on the bonds between community members. Under the leadership of the Niuli Community Association, local residents have created a community-based safety network to ensure a mutually assisted and sustainable neighborhood.
I'm a playful person. Most of the time, I'm reluctant to do something like this. But when I got to know the situation here, I knew that if I didn't look after them, no one else would.
Growing up in Sofeng Township of Hualien, Yang Fu-min has been a member of the Community Youth Corps since he was in junior high. Now a university student, Yang has stuck to his role of safeguarding solitary seniors in his community.
When you have a chance to get to know these people, you will naturally form a bond with them, which will drive you to do things on their behalf.
Such close bonds among locals is a precious asset in remote areas such as Hualien Sofeng Township. Since 1996, the Niuli Community Association has worked to strengthen the connection between community members here.
One of the most important things in community development is the creation of community kinship. As long as community members start to form good relationships with one another and acknowledge their role in the neighborhood, a sustainable community is foreseeable.
What worries these seniors the most is signing their names. They can't write their names. If they were asked to sign, they would rather be absent from the meetings.
I didn't have a chance to learn writing until I took part in this event.
As part of their regular gathering, housewives in the community invite senior residents for activities like drawing and paper cutting. They say it is a good way for the seniors to expand their relationship networks.
Such gatherings gives these seniors a chance to meet each other and have a chat with fellow residents every week. We will get old too and will need youngsters to lead us in learning new things.
The community here has formed a cycle of goodness, the result of constant care between and for residents, with such momentum further inspiring the youth in the community. At the Five-Way House, a shop selling second-hand items for charity, youngsters are busy organizing donated items delivered from across the island. Their earnings will go to an education fund for children living in remote areas. Founder of the Five-Way House, Professor Gu Yujun of Donghua University, says that the purpose of the shop is to teach children how to improve their lives on their own.
Since the economic situation is gloomy and there is no one that can help us, we have to rely on ourselves to improve our community for the better. In the future, these kids will become the backbone of their communities and give remote villages a brand new look.
Various charitable items from all corners of Taiwan has opened these children's eyes.
As they unpack these items, they will find numerous items that they have never seen before. In addition, here everyone can join in meals and other activities such as organizing items, putting them on shelves and folding clothing. We take this opportunity to teach them some useful skills.
The shop is not only a place for children to cultivate important skills, but also a place to build affinity with local residents.
We work with the local school and wider community to help these children grow up right.
The Five-Way House not only strengthens community relationships, but also completes a community-based caring system. Here in Shofeng Township, local residents demonstrate how collective goodness can achieve a truly sustainable community.
On September 20th, 1993, the Tzu Chi Singapore chapter was officially registered in the country. Now, 2 decades on, the Buddhist NGO's charity work has already extended their care to more than 18,000 needy residents. Let's take a look.
Singapore is a highly urbanized country. However, many people living on the fringes of society have still been forgotten. Thankfully, local Tzu Chi volunteers are there to help.
After I receive from your help, regularly they go 100%. That's why the school happy. The teacher always happy. No calls from the school already.
Smiles and tears of happiness from the care recipients are some of the most precious moments for the Tzu Chi volunteers.
If it wasn't for Tzu Chi, my mother wouldn't be able to receive dialysis treatment. I don't have money or a stable job. If my mother regains her health and I get a job, I will definitely become a volunteer.
Since 1987, Tzu Chi volunteers have been spreading their good works in Singapore. The country offers good social benefits to its citizens, and the average income stands about $52,000 in 2012. Very soon, the volunteers realized that many care recipients were not in need of financial aid, but medical assistance and emotional support. This is the home of the Xu family, where 2 brothers and a sister live together. Their total age is more than 230 years old.
Tzu Chi volunteers are great. We don't have relatives, and if Tzu Chi didn't lend us a helping hand, we really wouldn't know what to do.
For years, this family has been living in this old house. Last year, local Tzu Chi volunteers were mobilized to give their home a makeover. To reciprocate Tzu Chi's kindness, the Xu family has been donating their monthly governmental aid.
We will eat less and then donate the extra to Tzu Chi to help those in greater need.
新加坡啊，有一个家庭是3老家庭，我们也想要帮助他的生活，他们呢都很安贫乐道啊。他们都说啊，政府所帮助的生活还过得去啦，但是呢，还有比我们更困难的，所以呢，可以省下来去帮助更苦难的人。那想一想，这多么美好！
As of 2013, Tzu Chi Singapore chapter has already helped approximately 16,365 households and a total of 18,226 people. Among the care recipients is 105-year-old Chen Xingjing, who has been receiving Tzu Chi's help for more than 20 years. Grandmother Chen can barely recognize even those close to her anymore, but she still remembers to donate money to her Tzu Chi bamboo coin bank because she knows the money will help those in greater need.
She is living in hardship, yet she is willing to help those in greater need. I have learned a lot from her. She is a great example of finding peace and ease through the joy of giving.
Through helping these care recipients, Singapore Tzu Chi volunteers have realized that with a giving heart, everyone can become a giver. In the years to come, these angels in blue and white will continue to help those living on the fringes of society.
Also celebrating their 20th anniversary are Tzu Chis in Malaysia, who have been on the road performing the musical adaptation of the Sutra of Profound Gratitude to Parents. At the city of Batu Pahat, the 6th stop of their 9-city tour, the young volunteers performed to a sold-out venue. Here's more.
Malaysia Tzu Chis are here in Batu Pahat to put on another performance of the musical adaptation of the Sutra of Profound Gratitude to Parents.
The fact that Tzu Chi can be found in schools helping fill the hearts of these children is something very wonderful.
As it turns out, 1,700 tickets were sold for an auditorium that only holds 1,200 people. Therefore, the Tzu Chis opened their dress rehearsal to the public.
I suddenly felt that the play was talking directly to me, at the part where he bought things for the girlfriend but nothing for his parents, and I felt a bit ashamed.
The Sutra of Profound Gratitude to Parents, with its 1,000 years message of filial piety, has left a deep impression on many a performer, including He Wanxing, who was inspired to write a card of thanks to her parents.
I feel that she has really grown up. At least she knows what it means to be filial. She wrote a card for us in tears, so I made a special trip from Malacca to come see her perform.
Batu Pahat is the 6th stop of Tzu Chis tour, and as usual, Tzu Chi volunteers are there to assist before and after the performance.
There were a lot of problems that needed addressing. We needed to get the music and lighting synchronized, but everyone got the right idea of what they needed to do, so today went a lot faster.
A total of 300 meals as well as snacks were also handled by the kitchen volunteers.
During the performance, we try not to give them anything too hot to eat, as they are already sweating from their practice.
The young volunteers traveled to a local university where they introduced the sutra and its performance to students. Although everything was unfamiliar at first, the students soon got the hang of it.
It was tough in the beginning.
It was tough. At first, I wanted to give up.
Practice makes perfect.
Giving up would be regrettable, so we just kept trying.
Continuing to the end, the local students found they were left with a new and positive outlook on life.
The children of the world should all repent. That part.
Even if we offer up every part of ourselves, it would be hard to repay the kindness of our parents.
Not understanding those times when we mistreat our parents, we should reflect on those moments.
We should start to be filial as soon as possible. If you can only go home once a month, during those 2 days you should treat your parents right.
Following months of practice, the Malaysia Tzu Chis not only put on a performance to remember, but find that their hearts have changed for the better.
In Hong Kong, Tan Hui-Fang and her daughter Ma Ziyu, who were moved after watching the Water Repentance Sutra musical on Dai TV, decided to take part in a year-end blessing ceremony in 2011. At the 20th anniversary of the Tzu Chi Hong Kong chapter this year, the pair also successfully inspired their husband and father to join the musical performance as well. This is Ma Ziyu and her mother Tan Hui-Fang, both of whom are taking part in this year's sign language musical. After participating in the year-end blessing ceremony in 2011, the pair had hoped to inspire the only men in their family to join.
The daughter said that her father is really a macho man, so he won't take part in the sign language musical.
I wasn't really passionate about chanting the Water Repentance Sutra.
After accompanying his wife and daughter to a few study sessions, Ma Tiansen, a devoted Buddhist, was finally inspired to take part.
He came to every study session, and in class, he would ask questions on what he didn't understand. Many times when we were explaining things, he would ask about certain movements or how to turn. He was really devoted.
Besides the rehearsal sessions, Ma seized every opportunity to practice the movement in daily life.
When I'm waiting in the taxi line or waiting for customers, I will take it out and study it sentence by sentence. Unconsciously, I memorized many movements.
Ma is now also more friendly towards his customers.
I always greet my customers and even give them my well wishes when they leave. One customer was really surprised and said he had never seen a taxi driver like me.
On their way home from the study session, the family of three are ever more united as one. At every Tzu Chi year-end blessing ceremony, everyone looks forward to receiving their blessing and wisdom red envelopes. On October 1st, Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital Superintendent Dr. Jian Shouxing, along with his staff members, began assembling these red envelopes. These gifts, although small in size, are full of details to be aware of. Let's take a look.
Each red envelope of wisdom and blessing is filled with Master Zhen Yin's well wishes and Tzu Chi volunteers' love. At Taiwan's Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital, Superintendent Dr. Jian Shouxing and his fellow staff members carefully assemble each red envelope of wisdom and blessing.
We are transferring Master Zhen Yan's love and care for us into a tangible reminder, at the same time reminding ourselves to take it one step at a time.
Although this year's red envelope may look simpler overall, in its detail it's still as complex as ever. The right corner holds a Tzu Chi coin with an inscription. The water drop cutout on the left corner signifies waters of the Dharma, moistening the earth as well as enlightening our hearts. In the middle is Sakyamuni Buddha on top of Vulture Peak.
The Vulture Peak platform is to remind everyone of the joy we experience at the Dharma transmission ceremony.
From the side, the platform looks like a Dharma vessel, spreading the Dharma to all sentient beings, while the rings of the universe are paths to follow in life.
Everybody on this planet has a path they are walking, and in everything they do, they must not derail from the path they are on.
The 3 grains of rice on the lower right corner represents precepts, meditation, and wisdom. In practicing precepts and meditation, one naturally gains wisdom. The finishing touch is the gold band which holds it all together. The red envelope given yearly by Tzu Chi, although small in the hand, is actually significant in meaning and blessings.
We go to the United States at the end of today's program. To promote vegetarianism, Tzu Chi volunteers in Dallas, Texas, organize 4 vegetarian charity sales each year. For this season, volunteers prepared meatless buns and samosas, which were all sold out very quickly, with the proceeds going to those in need. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.